Dear friends, welcome back to Data Analytics Talks. In this video, I would like to focus on SQL Server transformations. SQL Server is one of the handy tools of data engineers, data scientists, and data analysts. Recently, one of my friends was telling me, so recently I switched my job and I'm given some task related to SQL Server. I'm struggling. Can you help me with some of the SQL Server transformations? What do you mean by SQL Server transformations? They are simple commands. Sometimes used to rename some of the tables, some of the columns, some of the fields. Sometimes used to concatenate the field names or strings. Sometimes some transformations are used to check the null values. Sometimes do the substring, that getting the part of the send of a text. Sometimes doing a pivot. Sometimes doing the transpose. Sometimes getting the aggregations. So there are so many simple commands, but they are used very often in our stored procedures, in views. If you are using SSIS, you will come across stored procedures where you will be needing to apply some of the transformations. So let's focus on these transformations in this video. Let's start. So welcome back. So my examples are based on the AdventureWorks 2019. So if you don't have this database, please go to the internet and search for AdventureWorks 2019. You can download the backup file and store it into your system. And this database is rich with hundreds of tables, and you can see the schemas like human resource, person, sales, production, purchases, and so on. So I will be just focusing on these tables to do some of the transformations examples that I am going to show you. So what I mean by transformation, they are simple task like we can execute in SQL Server, maybe giving an alias name, casting and converting, concatenating, substring. We have the upper and lower, the round function. We have the floor function, ceiling function, case statements, coalsec, handling the null values, null if, then replace characters, trim, LTRIM, RTRIM, group concatenate, greatest, least, and pivot, unpivot, window function. We have the DATEADD, we have regex replace, ranking, JSON aggregator. Then we have this formatting the numbers, calculating age. All these are some of the transformations that we can achieve in SQL Server with limited knowledge. So I'm going to the database and let me show you a simple query that we will be using in this example. So here we have selected three tables, sales order header, we have the customer, we have the person. So we have three tables selected for these examples. So once you get the backup restored to your database, you can use a simple join. These are all inner joins with these tables, and just execute it. And this is a plain vanilla query, no transformation at all. You can only just select statement. So going forward, we are going to see some of the transformations we can apply on SQL Server. The first one will be the renaming the column. The most often, while we are creating a views or stored procedure, we want to return a data set. Most of the time, you will need to have rename your columns, okay, for many purposes. So take an example. In this case, I would like to create a full name. I have a first name and last name. I would like to join them and have a full name. So here it is called alias. It's called a rename in the column. Of course, it is a rename in the column, but we call it as alias name. So let me have a simple query: customer, first name, last name, then full name. I am simply using a plus with a space just to get some space between the last name and first name. And this is a simple transformation. If I execute these statements, I can see the output. So we have the first name, last name, and the combined full string with a space, right? The full name, it's the first name and last name. Now the rest of things are remaining same. So if you would like to combine multiple columns in SQL Server, either you can use the plus symbol or you have another function coming up. You can use that function as well. Okay, this is a simple transformation, number one. Number two, we can say casting and converting. So most often, when we are doing some transformations, the raw data, the staging data will have some text text fields. Probably you will have to convert that into a date or numeric value. So we will have to convert that field into a date, some numeric values, or we need to such kind of transformation. For that, if there is a function called cast, use the cast function, and as a parameter you can pass the field name or the string name, and use the type, the destination type as date time, as worker, as integer, as float, and so on. Then of course you will have to give a alias name for the same. So casting is another transformation which will be very handy whenever we are doing some kind of SQL transformation. So another one is concat. As I already mentioned you, like you can combine multiple fields using plus symbol if it is a character values. But if you use a numeric values, it will be just a summing up. So there's a function called concat function. It takes arguments like the first argument and second argument and separator. So I am using a space character here between two fields, first name and last name. And you can of course you can change it to comma, you can change it to semicolon or colon or whatever you would like to be part of the separator. So I have this concat function. What does it mean? When I execute this function is command, you are going to get the full name. Of course I am given only the space. If I give a comma and the space, that will be added to the string as separator. So James comma then a space. So remember that if you want to concatenate multiple strings in SQL Server, use the command concat. Of course, please use an alias after that. Okay, we have another concat function where we will have to combine multiple fields, multiple strings to a column, that is concat underscore ws. Okay, what is that? Its argument is like what is the separator, then we have the strings, like I am just combining the title, first name and last name. The what is the name of the destination is a full name. So concat underscore ws, then use the separator and use the parameters. So let me execute this command, and you are going to see a combined full name, title, first name, and last name. Okay, this is a simple transformation. Probably many scenarios you will be able to use this concatenation in your applications. Then we have something called right, left, and substring. So most often, like you will have to extract a portion of your string, maybe from the end, or from the beginning, or from between, right? So if you would like to extract a string of any length, maybe I can mention it is mentioned as 2. Maybe I can say from the five characters from the beginning, I can use left. Then I can say just one character from the right. Maybe if you may be taking a pattern, like okay, if the pattern equal to something, maybe this kind of left right options functions you can use. Maybe if you want to take something, extract something from between, in that case you can use substring. So what happens if I execute this command? I execute the command, it is going to give you 3 additional fields, s, s2 and s3. The s, I have extracted the first 5 characters from the sales order number, that is SO441. The second one, I just extracted only the first character from the right side, maybe that's a 29999, like that. And substring, I'm extracting 3 characters from the second. That is means 044, 044, 045, 046, etc. So make sure you use this kind of functions in your transformation. It is simple, extracting a portion of your string, maybe a field in your select query. Very important one you can use is lower and upper. Sometimes you would like to use the lowercase or uppercase when you combine strings or when you put the output. Okay, when you execute that, it is going to give you the your upper name and lower name. Like it may be like you can see the upper name and lower name. Maybe I put upper name, so we can also put a lower name and execute again. Execute again. This giving you upper name and lower name. So use upper function and lower function as a transformation in your code. Then we have function called a round function. The round function is going to give you round your output to the decimal point you are mentioning. So I have a round function with a 0 decimal precision. So it's going to give you 4560000. So if you would like to have a 2 decimal precision, I can change the round function. It is going to select and give you the output accordingly. So 4560.29. It is a round function with a 2 decimal precision. Then we have something also called ceil and floor function. As you know, the ceil function and floor function. The ceiling. Let's see how this is going to seal it. It's going to seal. Is in a 4561. It is sealing. It's anything beyond 456.0.567 all will be sealing to the next integer like 4561. Okay, if you don't use sealing, we can see the actual result. Maybe I just remove the seal function. Then I just execute this command. So it's going to give you 45602864. So if you seal it, it is coming to 4561, right? 4561. So we have understood how to use the seal function. So similarly, seal function, we have the floor function as well. So you can just try out how the floor is coming, doing in this scenario. So all these joins remain the same. Then basically there is a colisec function. This function is basically if there is no title, what will happen? It can inject a text no title. Okay, so this command will check if the title has if the title field has value. If no value, it will inject no title. So let me just execute this command. Okay, I just execute this command and I'll show you how it happens. So maybe I will also do one thing. I can just select the title here so that you understand what happens. So let me select the title and execute it. So now we can see the title has null value, right? This title 1, 2, 3, 4 has null value. Basically, then the next field like this function has injected no title to that. Wherever there is a title, it has retained that. So when you want to do this kind of injection, okay, you can use a function. And there is another function called null if. Okay, maybe I can say what is the list price. What is the list price? If the list price is null, okay, what we'll do? Let me just execute and show you this command. So here you can see the list price is 0. Okay, if list price 0, then you have to insert null. This is you are going to insert the null. So this is also scenarios that you will have you often use in your transmission. The value 0 you can put null using this null function. If list price is 0, then half null for that. Okay, that is that's another transmission. So moving on, let's see what is the replace doing. So example, we have an email address. So email address has the domain as adventure-works.com. So sometime I would like to replace this domain with some other domain. Okay, maybe the domain is changed or something. So how do you do that? No, there is a command called replace. The replaces parameters, the field. Here the example is email address. So currently what I should replace? So adventure-works.com with what? @xyz.com. So if we execute this command, basically it will replace this command. Okay. So I'm not going to execute it, but I just would like to explain you that this is how you can replace any string in this case. Okay. Then coming to the other transformation, we have trim, LTRIM and RTRIM. So what is a trim? Trim is basically if there is a space in the field. Here in the email, there is no space. But some cases, when you are uploading from Excel, sometime when you are profiling the data quality, you can find there is a space, maybe knowingly or unknowingly happened in the field or in the string. So I need to remove all the space from LTRIM and from the left side and right side. You can use this trim function. If I have to replace only take a space, remove the space from only left side, I use LTRIM, otherwise right trim. So what happens? It won't give you any output, but this is going to trim and give you the field value. So if I execute everything, let's see what happens. So there is no change because there is nothing to trim. Okay. So remember that if you want to remove the space from your string or from the fields, use LTRIM, trim, and RTRIM. Then we have sometime you may have to do some group by, right? Sometime you want to bring all the sales order for particular customer, okay, to a single row. Like execute, you can use something called a string aggregator. This function is called string aggregator. Okay, so what does it doing? So we have selecting the customer and all the sales orders of that customer I want to bring to a single row, right? So let me just select in a user customer ID called 1100. So let me just select first this particular customer information from this table. Select star from this table sales order. I just execute. So you can see there are 3 sales orders for this particular customer. So 43793, 51522, and 57418, right? These 3. So if I would like to bring a single row, like what is the customer 1110, that's a customer ID, and 43793 comma or semicolon 51522 semicolon and 57418, then let us use this command. Let me execute this. So you can see 1100, that's the customer ID. Then we have order list 43793, 51222, and 57418. So this is a simple command to do the string aggregation from multiple rows. If I execute both of them, you can see the difference. See, we had 3 rows against S customer. I am bringing them together into a single column with S separator I can use any separator here. Okay. So remember, we have a function called string aggregator for that. Then now we have something called EIAF for it's a conditional if. Basically, based on the condition, like for example, if unit price is less than unit price discount, please show unit price. Otherwise, show unit price discount. It is conditional if condition. So this will be showing as a smallest value. So let me just execute that. So basically, the here in this case, one of the discount values is 0. That's why you are seeing this value. If the value is greater than unit price, you will see unit price as the smallest value. Okay. So remember, there is something called IIF. It is conditional if statement. Then very important transformation in SQL is pivoting. Pivoting. What is pivot? What's pivot? So let me just execute pivot. It is basically pivot. Let me just execute that. So see, the rows are the rows. These values like 1, 4, 7. So 147 is nothing but a territory ID. So in real cases, the territory comes as a row in the table. So I want to bring territory data as columns. So it is transposing the rows into column. So for that, you will be using the transformation called pivot. So select star from select territory ID. Total due is the total sum of the total due from the table as source table. Basically, this is a source table. Then we are doing the pivot. Then how do you are summing up all the total due for the territory 147. But if you look at the this table, you can see a lot of territories. Basically, if you execute this command, you will see the territory. There are many territories like 5, 6, 1, 1, 3, 3, and so on. Right? There are many territories. If I want to see sum of all these territories, I can bring them into a single row. So that is called a pivot command. So yeah, let me just show you all the territories in this sales order. There we have to use a dynamic pivot query. That pivot query, maybe if you read, it is something called you have to declare the pivot column names, then pivot query. They are created dynamically. Then you will be select distinct directory ID and prepare the in close. Like it is basically the way how we are preparing all the territory IDs. Basically, I was showing like in plus 147, right? So from the actual table as a distinct, it will combine all the territories. Then basically it is going to create a query. Okay, so we will be selecting the star. Here, what are we going to do? Here, going to select the territory ID and total due, and the pivot columns. Basically, pivot columns you will be passing as the parameter. Here, I was passing only 147. Here, it will be all the columns, all the territory IDs will be part as the parameter. So let me execute this simple pivot command. What happens? So it is completely executed, and let me just execute it fully. I will just reduce that size. So you can see I am command. This full command you have to select. This basically there is an execc sp underscore execute SQL, then using the full pivot query. Okay. So I am going to execute this. So it is going to give you the sum of all the territories 7, 8, 1, 6, 3, 10, 9, 4, 2, 5. So this case, this is one scenario. Most of the time we will be using this pivot and unpivot scenario. So this is one important transformation that you need to be aware. if you are working on any data analytics project or data integration projects. Okay. Similarly, yeah. So that's then next one is maybe say ranking. So based on the rank, you can based on the sales order total due, you can rank them, rank the member. So basically, the sales order ID Y51782 customer ID is the rank 1. Basically, that is a payable total due amount. Based on the total due amount, we can order them. That's where it is called order rank, order by. It's called a windowing function. This kind of transformation is called a windowing function. So it is like doing the order by clause and finding out the rank. And this is also very important transformation in the SQL Server. So another important transformation is getting the data into a JSON. Like sometime, all the details of a particular customer, we would like to create a JSON. For that case, you have something called a command called for JSON path. Okay. So let me just execute this transformation. This transformation is going to give you the order details as a JSON file, as a JSON run. If you hover over, you can see this JSON string. Like, see what are the sales happened for particular order and what is a customer. If there is a multiple entry, it is converted into a JSON file format. Okay. So hover over, you can see that the thing. So that's a very important transformation to convert the data output into a JSON single string for each customer. So other things, you just follow this command. So as I said, this is an AdventureWorks database. You can select such query and see the output by yourself. Then if you would like to do some padding or L padding, then you can use command called a replicate command. If you would like to fill some zeros or any character towards a string, that is called replicate. So here you can see that I am padding like with the zeros to the left of a number or string. Like you can reduce the number like 5. Probably you can say 5, or what is the how many numbers, what is the filling count. So it's just giving 5. So based on the replication, so it's going to adjust accordingly. So this is basically the LPAD. So basically another one, already I mentioned you about the windowing function. This is showing the rank calculation, and it's already I shown you that based on the total due, they are going to rank it. So if you would like to execute, you can say sales order customer ID rank over order by total due descending. We can make ascending and we can make a descending as well. Here I was showing the ascending, this as a descending. So order is important in this ranking. Then if you would, there are very important date transformations, like you can date add command function. So number of days 7 to the order date. Okay, so let me see, adding date, it's executing. So it's like adding 7 days to the order date. And you can also extract some of the date add and date difference. That means that this is how much days between 2 days. That's a date diff, date add. Then you can also do the date formatting. These are some of the date transformations that we can use in our queries. So these are some of the date. This formatted one. This is basically the number of days since the order date and today. This is date, and again this is basically the date add. 7 days is added to that. So remember date add, date diff, and I'm glad if this has helped you. Please share your feedback and thoughts in the comments. If you would like to know more about similar topics, let me know. Once again, thank you.